Hey, welcome back to Midwest Garage. My name is Jake, and behind me is a 1973 Chevy Nova SS. Now, if you're familiar with the channel, we do a lot of maintenance, repairs, and a lot of budget restorations. This, on the other hand, is not going to be a budget restoration. This is going to be done correctly. And although I'm very blessed and very thankful for everything that I do have, I am by no stretch of the imagination wealthy or rich. So this project is going to be many years in the making, and it's going to happen at a very slow process as funds become available to properly restore this car. Now, this car has a tremendous amount of sentimental value to me, and so I figured I'd give you kind of an introduction to this car, give you the backstory on it, and a little bit later in the video, we'll see if we can get this thing running. All right, so like I said, this is a 1973. If you're familiar with the muscle car era, you'll know that by 1973, the muscle car era was kind of coming to a close. So the SS package didn't mean a whole lot for Chevys anymore at that point. It was more so just a trim package. So my dad bought this in 1979, and he's the second owner of this car. And he actually bought it, he was either 15 or 16. I don't think he had his license quite yet, but he had saved up and actually bought this car. He bought it for $730 in 1979, which is wild to me because my dad still says, he's like, yeah, it was $730, and I thought the price was a little high, but I really liked the car, so I bought it. I mean, that's like buying a 2020 model car today in 2026 for, I don't know, $4,000. I'll figure out what the adjustment for inflation is and put it up here somewhere. But yeah, that's just wild. So anyway, he drove this car all through high school, all through college or tech school, all the way through his adulthood until he was married and had kids. So he parked this thing in 1994. By then, I had a brother and a sister, and my parents figured it was probably smart to get more of a family-friendly car. So this thing got parked in 1994, and it's sat in a pole barn ever since then. And it would get pulled out, you know, clean the points and start it up every couple of years or so, but that hadn't been done for, shoot, I guarantee it has not ran in at least 20 years, and it was sitting for a total of 31 years. And all through high school and all through my adult life, you know, it was kind of a thing where it's like, yeah, you know, my dad said, yeah, you'll get the Nova someday. And finally, this past year, you know, I'm almost 38 years old. My dad finally passed the torch and gave me this car that I've wanted for as long as I can remember. So super happy about that. But it did sit for 31 years in a pole barn with a dirt floor, so it rotted out a lot. The car did get a new paint job in the early to mid 80s. For a while it had side pipes and airbag suspension in the back to kind of lift the back up, but now it's pretty much back to original. So this past summer I went up north, pulled this car out of the pole barn with the help of my dad and my uncle. We got it loaded up and I brought it back here. I haven't done much to it. I gave it a bath because, as you can see in the pictures, it was in really rough shape. So gave it a bath, brought it into the shop here, and the brakes are locked up so it didn't roll very easily. And it was sitting here for a couple weeks, and I was so busy with work and other things. And finally one night I was like, I need to get this thing running, or at least see if it'll turn over, anything. So I gave it the basic tune-up. You know, I changed the spark plugs, the plug wires, cap, rotor, put a new coil on it. And I was gonna clean the points, but I figured just change it out for an electronic ignition. And basically all that does is it takes the points system. If you don't know, the points are the ignition system where it uses contacts that bump off each other inside the distributor to give you spark. And all you do is pull the guts out of that, replace it with an electronic ignition. It's a super easy upgrade, and it's one of the most common upgrades for these older cars. You put that electronic ignition in, and the benefit is you get a little bit better throttle response. It's a little more snappy because you have better spark, but the main reason for the upgrade is that you don't have to clean points anymore. So I did that, put a little bit of gas in the fuel tank, and my dad had told me that the fuel tank was starting to rust, had some pinholes. I figured I'll throw a gallon or two in it, put a drain pan underneath to catch any drops, and nothing was really leaking out. It does leak, but not enough to make it to where it wouldn't run. Turned it over, turns out it wasn't getting fuel. Turns out the fuel lines are completely rusted out. So what I've done here is basically just to get it running and see if it'll run. I've just ran a fuel line straight from the fuel pump out. I'll use a gas can to get it started and at least run it a little bit. So as you can see, the body is in really rough shape. Could be worse. I am a little bit concerned about the frame though. Some of the frame, I need to hit it with a needle scaler and kind of see what the extent of it is, but some of the frame looks like it's a little bit rotten, which is concerning. So my future plans with this car are, obviously I want to restore it, make it roadworthy. I'm not gonna do a showroom restoration and spend tens of thousands of dollars on it, because at that point I'm just gonna be scared to drive it, you know? So my main goal is to completely restore it, but not to really a showroom type restoration, because I still wanna drive it and enjoy it. The old 350 that it has in it is a really good runner, but it might be a little bit tired. So we'll probably do an engine rebuild and super up just a little bit. And then I'd probably like to add AC to it and a good stereo, and that's about the extent of the upgrades that I'm actually gonna do to it. I more so just wanna restore it to its original glory with a couple minor upgrades and creature comforts. Because obviously this thing is not gonna be driven in the winter or in inclement weather. It's gonna be driven when you kind of want AC, you know? So I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, as far as the restoration goes, you know, if a 1 is where it's at right now, super rusty, runs but not drivable because the brakes are locked up and everything like that. If that's a 1, and then a 10 is like a showroom car that never goes outdoors at all, I would like this to be around a 7 or an 8, where it's a really nice, clean car, but you're not scared to drive it down the highway. Anyway, that's enough yakking. Like I said, this car has a crazy amount of sentimental value to me, so I'm super pumped about it. I'm probably going on and on about things that you don't really care about, but yeah, let's quit yakking and get this thing started. So full disclosure, after I did the tune-up on this thing, changed the oil, made sure she had plenty of coolant, I did start this thing this summer. Here's a clip of the first time it started in well over 20 years. Put a little bit of gas in the tank there, hooked up the battery, a little pump. We got spark, she fired. All right, here we go. She wants to run. Keep on dinking with her. I wonder if we're not really getting fuel though. And it actually ran surprisingly well. Fired up pretty easily. We'll check our fluids quick, and then we'll turn this thing over and see if it'll fire up. All right. So here's my makeshift fuel line. We'll check our oil and our coolant. That's good. And so this car has the 5.7 liter, the small block 350, and a turbo 350 automatic transmission. Oil looks good. All right, so she'll probably crank for a while before fuel actually gets up to the carb. But yeah, let's turn it over. Getting fuel up this line. All right, battery was getting weak. I don't think it was getting fuel out of that can. So I grabbed a different gas can and I put a little splash of fuel into the carburetor. We'll see if it'll pop off now. She's a good runner. Carburetor's got a little fuel leak, so I wanted to shut her down. It runs good though. It seems to cut out when I give her juice. Yeah, we're leaking a lot of fuel. I'm gonna grab a fire extinguisher just to be safe. So I don't think that's fuel that's smoking. I think it's just grease and oil and stuff, but it definitely has a small fuel leak. Grab a little fire extinguisher just to be safe. That would be pretty embarrassing if I just go and burn down Dad's car, second time firing it up. So obviously this car needs a ton of work. It does run really well. I think the 4-barrel is a little sticky. You know, the carburetor obviously needs a rebuild. It likes to cut out when you give her the beans, but yeah, it sounds really good. I've said in like every single video I've ever made, I love the sound of glass packs. And I think growing up as a small kid in this car is why I love that sound so much. Just brings me back, you know. I used to get in trouble for blowing really loud bubbles in my milk. My mom would flip out and I would get smacked for blowing bubbles in my milk. And my excuse was always, what? I'm just trying to sound like the Nova. So anyway, yeah, I am really excited to start working on this old pig. I don't know what to do with it first. Probably gonna do brakes, obviously fix the fuel leak before anything else. Make sure it's just running solid. and then probably do brakes, get some new tires on it, and at least make it so that it's movable. That way I can check out the transmission and all that stuff. So yeah, that is kind of an introduction to this car and the story behind it. Hopefully you liked it. This car means a lot to me, and I'm super excited to start tearing into it. But until then, we have a lot of maintenance and service to do on our equipment and our work trucks. So we're gonna be getting to that stuff first, and then this will always be kind of a as I have time type of project. So you'll be seeing a lot more of it, but it's gonna be very sporadic when the videos about the Nova come out. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.